here locally in the community. Make sure y'all go check out Kneecap Body by Jeremy Jones.
Good evening, my friends, fellow podcasters, and everybody. How y'all doing tonight? I got my co-hosts Von Doom, Will Vogel, Ralph Williams, and Bistrilla the Thrilla in the house. Jordan Davison said he should be coming in any time now, so that should be good. But we might as well start. Oh, Yoli, yes. How are you doing, Yoli?
Hey, Yoli.
Let's start with the NFC East, since we got Von Doom in here, and he is a Giants fan. What are your windows of wins for each team and why?
I keep wanting to say 4-13 for the Giants, but honestly, watching the OTAs and just seeing things click a little bit, I think they may be able to win 6 now. I still hope it's 4, but they may be able to get 6.
Okay. And what do you think about the rest of the team? Let's go to the next one up. How are you all doing? I think we're all doing great. What about you guys? Are you guys all doing good?
I'll be doing better in a little bit here.
Superb.
I like that. Big words.
Superb.
I like multiple words like that.
We're in superb.
Syllables.
Okay, I got Washington in the 7-9 range. I think they did a lot of work on that team. It's all going to depend on if Jaden Daniels can come along quick enough. Dallas and Philly, I both have them in that 10-12 range.
Yeah, Philly's got to go to the Super Bowl. Nick Sirianni gets fired. It's as simple as that. So we'll see what they do.
In an ideal world, they'd have a game on like a Monday night when everybody's watching and a meteor would hit the stadium. Take them both out. But hey. How about Kenny Pickett outperforming Jalen Hurts in OTAs?
That's crazy.
That doesn't mean anything.
It's OTAs.
I mean, Jalen Hurts isn't a good quarterback. He never has been.
Matt Henry in
He's
the
been
house.
good enough. He wasn't. I don't think he was the direct reason why they lost the Super Bowl. Of course, that fumble for 6 wasn't a good thing for him. But other than that, he played a pretty flawless Super Bowl.
Yeah, outside of that freaking lame duck he threw at the end of the game.
Yeah.
We lost that Super Bowl to Green Bay because of Rashard Mendenhall. So
I remember that.
Yep.
All right. What is your window of wins for everybody in the NFC East there, Ralph? What do you think? Are you
well, the Giants. A lot of these teams are rebuilding. I mean, Dallas might be the team this year. Philly, they have 2 new coordinators. Nick Sirianni's on a hot seat, and as I mentioned, and he has to win a Super Bowl. They're in desperate times here in Philadelphia, so we'll see what goes on with that division.
Okay.
But what's the window?
Washington, I kind of agree with Von Doom on this. We don't know what to expect from Washington, although they have a young quarterback and they have a new offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury. So let's see what he does there.
Oh, God. Cliff Kingsbury is the offensive coordinator?
Yes.
Dude, he is a great offensive coordinator.
Yes, he is. A bad coach, but a good offensive coordinator.
Yes.
Yeah, as an OC, he did good. Because wasn't he the OC when Johnny Manziel was there and he was promoted to be the head coach at Texas Tech?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, but you know what, Jeremy, I've said this many times, and I think everybody will agree with me. There's coordinators and there's head coaches. And some guys, and guys like Cliff Kingsbury, are great coordinators. Guys like Arthur Smith, good coordinator. I can name you 100 guys, great coordinator. Josh McDaniels, same thing. So, it's just, you can't, sometimes when you're a coordinator, it's different than being a head coach. And when you're a coordinator, and then you go become a head coach and you want to coordinate your defense or your offense. It doesn't work that way. The best thing to do when you become a head coach is bring in some great coordinators that can help you get your team to win, and that's how you win if you're a young coach like that. The coach I feel bad for right now is Dave Canellis in Carolina. I feel bad for him because here's another young coordinator. He's only been a coordinator for 1 year, and he was quarterbacks coach with Seattle. So,
yeah, Giants, that was Texas A&M, but I believe that's how Cliff Kingsbury got that coaching job at Texas Tech, was because of the coordinator at Texas A&M.
Yeah, Washington
too. He's not a bad offensive coordinator. It's just that Tampa Bay didn't do anything extraordinary, and he did make Mayfield play better. That was a big key because they're coming from Brady to Mayfield, so they made Mayfield better in the offensive scheme. So that and they got in the playoffs. Nobody really expect him to do anything, to tell you the truth.
Well, we'll see what they do in Washington. Anyway. We'll see what they do in Washington. This is Dan Quinn's second attempt at being a head coach. Okay, first time around, he went to the Super Bowl with Atlanta, and then they flopped. We'll see if he can do it again here in Washington. So we'll see. They got new ownership, new coach. Let's see what happens there. They might surprise some people. You never know.
RXJ in the chat and James Burgess.
What's up, RX?
So RXJ says, "What's up, JB? And we'll hope everyone is having a good week. Any day I'm above ground, it's a good week."
I know that's right.
You may feel like crap. You may have a bad attitude, but you were blessed with another day, and so look at it and be thankful.
Amen.
All right, B. Strilla, what do you think about the NFC East?
So my spin is a little bit different. I really think Dallas is going to be struggling this year. I do. They got players they need to sign that are. CeeDee Lamb hasn't showed up for OTAs. Micah hasn't showed up for OTAs. I'm surprised Dak is showing up. Dak is basically, they're telling Dak this is your last year here, so you might as well whatever. And with that kind of morale going on in that clubhouse, that's not good. I don't see them winning too many games. I don't even see them competing for first place. I think Philadelphia and Washington. I think Philadelphia's got the division all the way. I think Ralph is right about between 10 and 12 wins. That should be good for them. Washington will probably be in there at 9 and 8. I think Dallas will probably be tied with them, but Washington will hold a tiebreaker. The Giants are probably, I like that. Van Doom about the Giants being 6 and 11. I might even go 7 and 10 with that. I think they're going to have a reincarnation of sorts for the offense. I think these players with the new receiver that they got. Neighbors is going to be electric. He's going to be hot. He's going to be something good for Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is going to get together. You know how Daniel Jones is. He's like the roller coaster quarterback. He plays bad, then he plays good. Then he plays bad, and he plays good. Then he plays bad, and he plays good. He'll get it together, though.
He plays enough to save his job when there's a good quarterback in the draft.
Exactly. You got it. So, being all that said, I'm going to even go 7 wins with them.
All right. RXJ has a question for us. You guys think Kelsey plays more than 1 year? At most, I think he has 2 to 3, getting old and has the championship ring. You know what's funny is you say that, but he's just pulled a 27-year-old who's like one of the hottest stars out there. Even if you hate her, Taylor Swift is one of the hottest stars out there, and I don't mean sexy hot. I mean hot as in demand.
I thought she was in her 30s.
I'd rather stick my dick in a knot on a fucking 2x4.
Damn, and that's about what you would be doing with her, yeah.
Hey, I said she's a carpenter's nightmare, flat as a board and twisted.
I'm not going to down Taylor Swift. She's an incredible artist, and she's obviously one that everybody, not me particularly, but most people will go to. she came from country. She did pop. She's an icon. As far as the woman herself and somebody going with her, that's not my cup of tea. Sorry,
Well, you know,
It's a
Well,
slide thing.
let me say this. I worked 2 of her concerts at Heinz Field, and then I also play her music a lot when I DJ parties. So
yeah,
There you
exactly.
go. I mean, just as far as an artist, she's talented.
she's a good
You can't take
talented
that away.
artist. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
she's you can't take that away from her. But as far as me or anybody that wants to date her, I'm not one because she's a stick, and I don't I can't slide on sticks. I'm kind of thick myself. It ain't happening.
That's
Travis
cold,
Kelsey,
man.
I wish him the best. I wish him the best.
Well,
But
you know what? He was distracted by her most of the year until the Super Bowl. I mean, he really didn't do much if you take a look at it.
Yeah, he
Every
did.
game that she was there, he put up almost 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Jeff Okuda gonna marry Taylor Swift. No, but that could be a
Hey,
good.
Taylor Swift did a lot for the Kansas City Chiefs, man. People start watching the Chiefs and showing up at the games because of Taylor Swift. I mean, it's nice to have somebody do that. I mean,
Here's
Raise
the
ticket sales. That's what it counts. It doesn't make a difference
yes,
if they don't know nothing about football, but that's okay.
that's right. Even if they were a bad team because of Taylor Swift. And get this, now the Kansas City Chiefs have a whole new set of audience. They have these Taylor Swifties that didn't even know anything about the Kansas City Chiefs, and now they know everything about them now because they're tuning into the games because of Taylor Swift.
okay,
Mhm.
but at the same time, I was trying to say, guess how they get paid TV money? Nielsen rating. Here's the
Yes,
45% more women between the ages of 18 and 35 watched the Kansas City Chiefs with Taylor Swift in attendance than they watched ever any NFL game in NFL history. Swift means ratings. The
yes.
NFL
Mhm.
actually booked the schedule
James, you
around
hit it
her,
on the head. Yep.
and that's another reason why there was such a big jump in revenue. She attended 7 games last year, and the women watching was up 3.5 million people. And that don't sound like a lot, but when it averages about 500,000, it's huge.
Yes,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah.
And it
I
gives
mean,
the NFL further notoriety. Like you said, people that don't watch football, young
right.
18. What was it? The demographic was like 18 to
18 to
30 something.
35. Right. They don't watch
35 don't
football,
that watch
Zilla. They don't
football.
watch it at
Yeah.
all. And now they got a whole new set of audience, like Jeremy said. And now it's a 500,000
Yeah.
or more people that are watching now.
Yeah.
That had no idea who the Kansas City Chiefs are. None.
They gonna whoop that ass anyway. They probably would have whooped that ass more had. I
If we
mean,
made it to
we're
the Super
saying whoop that ass. They only beat them by a point, but the point of the matter is,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll be
Bowl.
back.
they
Hey,
would have beat them anyway.
if you ask Packers fans, we scored all of our points in garbage time. We scored 9 points in the fourth quarter to pull within 7.
Hmm.
That was because we missed an extra point. We had a touchdown and a field goal, if I remember right. Isn't that what that was? We missed the extra point, but we got the field goal, or we went for 2 and didn't get it and got a field goal. But at the same time, they don't want to admit that they scored 14 points in the fourth quarter in garbage time against Detroit to get it within 14.
Oh, absolutely.
They want to talk trash about our game, but they won't talk trash about theirs. And I'm gonna put that out there. The ass whooping was the first game in Lambeau when Detroit went in their house and had more fans there than they had. I mean, Panay Sewell walked out of that thing and goes, "We're at home."
Yeah, I want to say this, Jeremy, and I'm not saying this to be ignorant, but it's a fact. There's Steeler bars all over the country. I mean, no other team other than the Steelers have bars everywhere. I mean, I've been to Raleigh, I've been to Vegas. There's Steeler bars all over the place. So, I mean,
Hmm.
There,
the Steelers, no
there's,
matter where they go on away games, sometimes we have more fans than they do, than the
there's even
home team.
as much as I hate to say it because I hate that team and I hate their fans. There's cowboy bars everywhere too. You can say,
Is it really?
yeah, there is.
Well, I would say that, but I haven't seen any. I'm sorry, Ralph, but I haven't seen any Pittsburgh bars or Dallas Cowboy bars here in this metropolitan area. If it
No,
is,
not
they
They,
hiding.
well,
yeah,
no.
I'm not sure. I mean, I know they're around the country. I've
I
been
don't. I,
told,
I. As bad as Detroit Lions have been, there ain't gonna be no switching up like that here, and especially in this city. Ain't nobody gonna be cheering for somebody else. It ain't
Oh, I
happening.
know.
B, you're like
But
me. You've been watching them since you were knee high to a duck.
yeah, but Pittsburgh has they travel well. Pittsburgh
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they
travels
do.
well.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, Dallas does. I mean,
I
there's teams that travel well,
right here in
and
We
Pittsburgh's
haven't
one of the first ones.
played the LA Chargers in the new and SoFi Stadium yet, but when they were in that soccer field, so I'm going to tell you this: it was all Steeler fans with the terrible towels. I mean, it was crazy. You know.
James Burgess.
Well,
Brown
we did become Steeler. I think we did become Steeler fans here when you guys came to the Super Bowl here at Ford Field because Jerome Bettis was our
Yeah.
product, one of our products
Yes.
here,
Yeah.
and I
Yes.
think everybody was voting for the Steelers to win that game. So
Jerome
Yeah.
Bettis.
Now
yeah,
now we have
Steeler
Cam
fans
Sutton. Now we have
Yeah.
Cam Sutton. So
again.
Yeah, but we're not
Okay.
going to be celebrating him.
I know, and you guys have some former Steelers as coaches. Deshae Townsend, I believe, is still with you guys, and a
He's
few other
behind him
guys
this
you guys
year.
have had.
We got
So
Jay Townsend. We
Yeah,
got
we got the
Ralph Williams.
we got coaches from different teams.
yeah,
We got the
you have.
quarterbacks coach. He was from Jacksonville.
Correct me
We
if I'm wrong.
got
I think you had Randall L there
offensive
as
line from
quarterbacks coach
Tennessee.
or something.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got JT Barrett as assistant quarterback coach.
Well, no,
Yeah, and then
he's not a quarter.
Sean
Randall L's not a quarterback
Saladin's
coach.
still
He's
there,
a
Jeremy.
receivers coach.
Sean Saladin's still there, or Salomon, or whatever his name was. He was our offensive
Oh,
line coach.
he was one of the ones that was cut a while
No,
back.
we got what's his face from
We
Philly?
got Hank
Was he from
Fraley.
Philadelphia?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hank
Hank Fraley. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad he's gone. He was a bum anyway.
We poached the Steelers water boy, best in the business.
Yeah, that's it. There he goes.
hey,
Hey, you
they
know
poached
what? It's
water
like
boy.
it's like this. You'd rather poach good players, good coaches from good teams than
Right.
bad coaches, good coaches from bad or bad coaches from bad teams. So I mean, we got it. I mean, everything works with the Lions right now as far as the coaching staff is concerned.
Oh yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
worried about that. I mean, everything is in line. DC, he's got very defensive and offensive minded things. That's what he uses on fourth down. But other than that, I mean, look at he lets Ben Johnson run the offense. He lets AG run the defense. Although
And he
AG's
puts his hand in when he
about
needs
that
to.
close. AG about that close.
And everybody
He-
forgets, Brian, you remember this because I know I brought it up a lot. Right after that at Chicago game, when our defense was absolutely putrid and getting walked all over by the Bears. You remember what Dan Campbell said in that presser right after the game? It's time for me to put my hands on the defense.
Yeah,
And
he'll do
what
that.
happened? We were night and day aggressive from one week to the next. And everybody forgets that, and they think it was all AG, and they don't want to give Dan Campbell credit. And I call bullshit.
Mhm.
But Will, I know you've been waiting to talk. What do you have to say, sir?
Yeah, I wanted to do the overview on the NFC East
Nope.
for the
I would have
Giants.
got to you, but I was trying to go in order. Ralph finished, and then we got on a tangent due to comment. So let me get B's, and then I'll get yours. Okay.
Okay.
What's up, Brian? Three cushion.
So you think Dallas is going to have a step back? You think it's Philly's division to lose, right? B,
That's
is that what
me.
you
You're
were saying?
talking. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you think Washington's going to be better than everybody thinks?
Yep.
Okay. But you have that. Did you say 5-7 for the Giants?
7 wins for the Giants.
What? 7 wins for the Giants? Okay.
Yep. 5. Yeah. 7 wins for the Giants. I believe they will beat Dallas one of those times too. Dallas is just they're flat right now.
Say it
They're
right.
just flat.
Okay, Will, your turn. I just wanted to make sure I had it right.
Yeah, yeah,
Go
yeah.
ahead, Will.
So, for the Giants, I have the window between 4 and 6. I have them at 5. For the Commanders, I think they're at 7. For the Eagles, I think they're at 11. For the Cowboys, I actually have them at 9 wins.
Okay.
It's fair. Mm-hmm.
I've said all along, and I've said it to Dan, and he hates it. I've said 6 to 8 wins for the Giants the entire time. I think they're better than a 5-win team. I think their floor is 6. I think they could win 8. I still think they missed the playoffs, but they might be picking in the top 15 rather than the top 10, is what I've said the entire time. And I'm going to stick to it because I'm seeing and hearing good things out of OTAs. I do check other teams' OTA news. You know why? Know thy enemy, because what if you face them in the playoffs? That's all there is to it. Know what's going on. Know who they say is up, who is down, who's on the bubble. Because we're getting to that point that we're going to start hearing about bubble guys. Just like right now, I know Jake Bates was in. Did we sign him? Did anybody hear if we signed Jake Bates today?
We ain't gonna sign him.
You don't think we're going to sign him?
No.
I hope so.
No. I'm gonna tell you something. A 77% kicker in USFL football is not gonna make it in the NFL. Sorry. I mean, I loved him at first. I'm not gonna lie. I was on that Jake Bates wagon in the beginning of the season when we was kicking all them long field goals and winning some games. But at the end of the season, I said, and I told this to Rumble, my co-host on Nothing But the Smoke. I told him, I said, hey, if he finished the season strong like that, then we should consider signing him. He's not an outdoor kicker. He's missed a lot of his field goals outdoors. He also he's not great under pressure either. He had a chance to, not that it made a difference where they played at, but they could have won the division had they kicked a field goal and beat Birmingham, and it didn't work out. And it was a simple kick too. It wasn't a long kick. It was a 52-yard field goal. That's not for him with that leg. That's
an
not.
average. That's an average.
That's yeah. That's so. Jake or James Turner in his college career has kicked 85.7%. That's
Right.
better than Badgley. So Badgley's only kicked 82.5 or something like that in his career. So you got to look at those percentages of field goal kicking. I think James Turner, and he has been booming them in OTAs against Badgley. Badgley's been losing a lot of those battles. So I would think that at the worst they could have 2 kickers on there. I wouldn't want to have 2 kickers on my roster, but whatever. But I think James Turner would probably win that battle.
I think in all actuality, because I've heard just the opposite about Badgley. I've heard he's been doing great. I heard he went 8 for 8 from 53 and further the other day. And that's per Jeff Risden. So, I think we're going to carry 2 kickers because what they've been using James Turner for predominantly, he has done way more kicking in the special teams kickoff with the new rules because of the landing zone, and he's been hitting it at a 92% clip, which is better than Jack Fox, and it's better than Michael Badgley at hitting that 20 to the goal line area. And it's because James Turner doesn't have that big leg to kick over 50 yards at all. And the 8 for 8 was 53 to 61 yards that day outside at Allen Park for Michael Badgley.
Well, you talking about Badgley or you're talking about Turner? Because Turner kicked a 52-yard field goal against Ohio State.
I understand
So he
that.
can kick and he can kick outdoors too.
I'm talking
And they ain't
Badgley
gonna.
outdoors.
And it's OTAs again. I have to stress to you though, Jeremy. It's OTAs. Okay, they're not about to give Jack. They're not about to replace Jack Fox as a kickoff special. Oh hell no! Jack
You know
Fox
what? We
is boom
get
stuff.
with OTAs, guys. You get drama, and it's like
Yeah.
a soap opera in OTAs. I mean, you got this position, got this guy trying to do this. It's OTAs, folks. Let's wait and see what happens in the preseason and the regular season, and we'll find out what everybody's made of.
Yeah, because they had on the Steelers, they had Justin Fields being what, an option back on the goal line.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not
Yeah,
gonna
well,
do
you know
that.
what?
They may do that, but I don't see that happening. I don't.
No. They're saying there are the drama's been going on a lot here with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and you're right. They're talking about having him and Russell Wilson in the same backfield. I don't see that happening. I've been saying for years, why don't you stack up a 3-man backfield, put a fullback back there with your 2-star running backs, because that'll keep the defensive coordinator doing this, scratching his head. But they won't do it to Steelers. They won't do it like that.
I have suggested that as soon as we had Gibbs and Monty in the backfield to go get a legit free agent fullback out there, like Xander Horvath, and run the old full house. I have suggested that for a year and a half now. Can you imagine with that backfield, And Xander Horvath is an underrated receiver out of the backfield from Purdue as well, because he did run a 4.5 40. He's the exact size of his pro comp, which is Mike Allstott, 6'4", 240 pounds, and runs a 4.5 40. Sign me up. Give me that guy for a fullback with 28 bench reps. But yeah, I got it. I got it at 8 to 10 wins for the Cowboys. I've got it at 11 to 13 wins for Philly just because of their division. I've got the Giants, like I said, in that 6 to 8 range. And I've got the Commanders right in the middle. I have them at 8 to 10. I think their floor is 8 wins and their ceiling is 10. I think they could actually end up, if Cowboys fall on their face and get 9 wins, you'll see the Commanders make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. The Cowboys will fall on their face. I just had this feeling that it's not going to.
I'll tell you, Jeremy, who's a good fullback, George Aston from Pitt, and now he plays for the Broncos. He's a good fullback. He was good at Pitt when we ran the football, and now he's with the Broncos, and I think he's a good fullback, very good, one of the few good ones.
James Burgess has a question for you there, Ralph. As a Steelers student, what do you think it would take for Fields to start? More Wilson faltering or Fields balling out this preseason?
Well, I think Wilson gets hurt because we need to fix our offensive line for him. If open door Dan Moore doesn't block right like he normally don't, I think Russell Wilson's going to end up getting sacked too many times and getting hurt. We could have do like we did what Coward did with Cordell Stewart when he first got started or came to the team or was with the team. Just have him line up in goal line position. Again, you got to do things to keep the defensive coordinator scratching his head. All right, and especially if you're doing a power running game, you can't really run the football all the time. You got to come up with some kind of gadget plays, and I think Justin Fields will be involved in some kind of gadget plays. That's what I believe. But if Russell Wilson falters, at least we have a good quarterback room. And I've said this many times. I think we have one of the better ones now with Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen. Again, don't sell him out. He backed up Josh Allen and won games at Buffalo. Do not sell him out. He's a good backup quarterback. So we have 3 good backup. We have 3 reasonably decent quarterbacks.
You're in the same position as you were last year. 3 decent quarterbacks. If anyone goes down, each one has a
somebody has something right. Yeah, and can win games. And
I think the level of the quarterbacks this year in Pittsburgh's quarterback room was a little higher than it was last year. You had a rookie that was a rookie in the second year. Then you had
Mitch Trubisky. Oh,
yeah. I mean, Trubisky's good to spell, but he's not a starter.
Right, but Mason Rudolph got a short end of the stick here, Zilla, on this the whole time he was at Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin never, for some strange reason, would never play him. He had to sit behind Roethlisberger all these years. If he would have just let him start right after Roethlisberger retired, instead of messing around with Kenny Pickett and Trubisky and all that stuff, I think Mason Rudolph could still be in Pittsburgh. But he saved Mike Tomlin. Mike Tomlin got an extension because of last year, and Mason Rudolph saved his ass. It's as simple as that.
Trubisky's good, said no one ever. You're wrong, because every time he played the Lions, he looked like Joe fucking Montana.
He was good for Chicago.
Well, you know what? It was bad coaching, Jeremy. We had Matt Canada as our offensive coordinator who couldn't find his call play out of a paper bag. Simple as that.
I said the only thing Matt Canada stole as an offensive coordinator is the playbook from Matt Nagy.
Oh,
the Pro Bowl playbook.
If he stole Matt Nagy's playbook, then how come we're not as good as Kansas City? Because that's where he is now as an offensive coordinator.
Because Andy Reid draws up them plays.
That's true. Matt Nagy's just a figurehead.
Right. He wasn't good in Chicago either. And
not as a head coach. No, he was terrible. Again, good at developing a quarterback, but just not a good offense or a good head coach. Simple as that.
Yeah, because he did help develop Mitch Trubisky.
Yes, he did. Yes.
Because remember, he was putting up 3,500 yards a year. He was putting up 28 touchdowns, and he was only getting intercepted 11 to 14 times. So he had a 2-1 touchdown ratio. He made the playoffs 2 out of the 3 years they were there. They got 10 wins, but lost to a key outside the division opponent, and that opponent got in the last year, which is why they didn't do anything but get rid of Trubisky.
Well, sometimes
That was
Jeremy and guys, it's about the coordinator. It's about the coach too. It's not all, some quarterbacks are bad because the system's horrible or the coach don't know what he's doing. Just like Matt
You got
Canada
those.
and Trubisky blamed him for a lot of the problems that were there. And
I
then it did happen.
I like giving Bear fans a little crap because their career quarterback yardage leader is a guy they poached from the Lions, letting go as a free agent, which was Eric Kramer at 3,800.
Mhm.
Yeah, I remember Eric Kramer. He's with Minnesota too, wasn't he?
Yeah, he ended
Yeah,
up
he
in
was.
Minnesota
Yeah,
as
he
a
was a journeyman. Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Minnesota, J.J. McCarthy, I heard, is threatening to hold out if he don't get some kind of bonus or something. He's going ballistic or whatever. I don't know. For a guy who's a rookie and all that, first round pick. Come on.
Man, I don't even want to reply to those comments, Junior, because everything you've said has made no sense whatsoever.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What I said hasn't made any sense?
No, Junior, in the chat
No,
comments, look at the comments.
JB Junior.
Oh,
Yeah.
In
That
the
one and the one about trade for Crawford Fields.
Number one,
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Come on, Jeremy
Number two,
Jr. Come
bring
on.
back Amir Abdullah to challenge
No.
Gibbs.
Orlando said
No.
Trubisky's good. Said no one ever.
Hockey.
What, challenge him for fumbles? Because that's what he'll be doing.
Trade golf. Come on, trade golf for Fields. Really? Yeah.
You
know what? I got a better chance against struck by lightning than that trade happened.
Even if we did that, we'd have to change the whole offense.
Yes, exactly.
To fit Fields.
Exactly.
And it's not going to happen. So no.
And they just gave Goff that contract. Why would they trade him?
Mid off season, you would have to change the entire playbook to fit what he does.
Exactly.
A rookie quarterback that hasn't played in the NFL to sit behind Goff and learn for 2 or 3 years exactly how to run this offense. That way, if Goff does leave in a couple years or 4 years down the road and he's still on the roster, he can just step in and it's like you didn't lose anything. What does that sound like? When the Packers transferred from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers, when they transferred from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. Now, granted, it took half a season for Jordan Love to look good, and it took Aaron Jones pulling his head out of his ass and learning how to run again.
Right. Well, another thing too, guys. Okay, Steelers screwed up after Ben retired. They thought Kenny Pickett was the best thing since sliced bread, and they were wrong. Okay, and here's the thing: the Steelers will never, ever admit they were wrong. My co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier, used to work for the Steelers as a scout under Bill Cowher, and he told me this: the Steelers hate to be wrong. They'll never admit they're wrong, ever. So, and they were wrong about Kenny Pickett. And I told everybody here, and I think I've said it a few weeks back, that the only reason they took Kenny Pickett was in case he became a good quarterback. They didn't want to hear from the Pitt fans screaming and hollering, "Oh, why didn't you get the Pitt guy? You didn't get Dan Marino." When Dan Marino was in Miami, they bitched. Do you know how many Super Bowls we could have if Dan Marino was our quarterback? Because Bill Cowher never had a franchise quarterback until Ben Roethlisberger.
Well, how many Super Bowls did Pittsburgh have? I mean, they got the most.
We have
one
6.
Of the most, right?
We have
6.
6.
There you go.
We're tied with New England right now.
New England, yeah. So, I mean,
Roethlisberger.
But we would have had 10 Super Bowls or more if Dan Marino was our quarterback, because the problem with Dan Marino was when he was in Miami, they didn't have a good defense. That was their biggest problem throughout the years when he was there. And he had to rack up a bunch of points. And sometimes it didn't happen that way.
Right. I mean, what the Packers have done and what the Chiefs did with Mahomes, letting him sit at least a year or more, letting QBs sit is the main reason why their QBs have success. They're coming in when they understand the playbook. It makes a huge difference in the development of a QB, regardless of round they were drafted in. Look at Tom Brady. Never even sniffed the field. Made a bunch of mistakes his rookie year in the preseason. We heard Bill Belichick telling him kids at Foxborough High School could have ran the play better. You know,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Yeah.
We all heard the stories. And then he comes out and he said, "You just do as I told you. Run these plays as I call them to you, and you'll be fine." And what did he do? He took that team to a Super Bowl because he listened to the coach. He learned the system. Drew Bledsoe got hit by a couple of jets at the end of September and took him out for almost his career. Luckily he was resurrected at Dallas, but it was too late.
Well, how about Brock Purdy? He was the last draft pick in the same draft as Pickett, and look at what he's doing. I mean, but again, he has Kyle Shanahan down there too. Kyle
Right.
Shanahan's very good at working with a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Steaming Willie Beeman. There we go with the good comments from a movie reference.
Steaming Willie Beeman. Yeah, there you go. Any Given Sunday, one of my favorite movies,
It's very
sports movies.
even look at Lamar Jackson in his MVP season. It didn't happen to year 2. Year 1, he struggled mightily as a quarterback. He had a sub 60% completion percentage. He was just electric with his legs. No one could stop him because he was that fast and he was that elusive.
Well, actually, his first season was his MVP season, but he started some games in his
Right. I'm just
inaugural
talking about
rookie season.
right, his rookie season. I'm talking his sophomore
He
year,
took
which was
some
the
off.
second year
Wasn't
in
Joe
the league.
Flacco still there at that
Yeah.
time?
Joe
Yeah.
Flacid. Joe Flacid was there his rookie year. Yeah.
Go ahead, Will.
No, I was gonna say Jeremy. That's Jeremy and I's nickname for him.
Yeah. Joe
Joe
Flacid.
Flacco.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, but
Joe
he comes
Flacco
off
got paid. He took him to the Super Bowl,
Man.
won, and got all those complete.
Look
Hey,
as bad as
hot
the
quarterback.
and they look like
Hendon Hooker.
the playoffs.
Somebody would rather have. Orlando said he'd rather have Hendon Hooker over Fields.
I would.
For backing up, yes, because of what Field skill set doesn't fit what we have here in Detroit. Is what I'm getting at.
Who? Hendon Hooker.
No, Fields. Fields
No,
does
it's
not
Fields.
fit.
Oh, Fields would not. No.
No, he does not fit.
But he
what
might fit this offense with Arthur Smith. His offense is power running game and stuff. So we'll
No.
see what that goes.
when you guys drafted Kenny Pickett,
Right.
when I was making my predictions, and that was what 2021, right? Yeah.
Right. No, 2022 or 2021. Yeah.
The 2021. I thought
Right.
you guys should have taken Tyler Linderbaum that went to the Ravens. A couple picks.
Oh
after.
yeah. Yeah.
That should have been
We haven't been able to get a center in here after Marquise Pouncey retired.
right, and that's exactly why I said it. I said Marquise Pouncey's guy gone.
Yeah.
They can take one of those second-tier college quarterbacks in the second or third round on day 2, and probably do just as good with any of those first-round guys.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Because now they'll have an anchor for the center of that O-line. They've always had decent guard play, whether it was the backups or the vets that were in there. They always had decent tackle play. It's center play they're lacking. And when they didn't address the center position, I think it wasn't until the 5th round that year. I
Yeah.
was like, what are they doing?
Well, the Steelers drafted a guy in the 7th round a few years back named Spencer Anderson who can play all positions on the offensive line, but he hasn't. We're using Nate Herbig, I heard, and then Zach Frazier will be blended in. So, because Tomlin don't like to start draft picks right away.
Not like to start as rookies right off the rip, but
Yeah.
I think Frazier is probably better than anybody on your interior O-line when I watch his gameplay in college.
Right. Well, I'm hearing stories now. We may even bring back Mason Cole as the backup, but he's going to have to come back at a discount. So
Pickett got drafted because of that fake slide in the bowl game, which is a penalty. Plus him being the hometown kid. Hope the Steelers get a long-term guy soon, Ralph. Absolutely.
yes.
So let's go on to the AFC East, and I'm going to start with you, Ralph, because we're going to go counterclockwise this time.
Okay.
You got Buffalo, Miami, Jets, and New England. What are your window of wins for each team? Where do you think they end up? Who wins that?
Okay. I got Buffalo, Miami, and New England. What was the other ones?
New York Jets.
New York Jets. That's right. Okay. Jets. I hear there's some issues going on. Aaron Rodgers didn't show up for a mandatory mini camp, and he's going to get fined and all that stuff. So we already got drama there. And then New England, they have a new coach, new offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt, former Pitt quarterback that I had the privilege of watching, and also got a raw deal down in Cleveland because of Kevin Stefanski being a moron. So anyway, but yeah, so I think New England, I don't know, 8-8 or 8-9 maybe, something like that. Because I think Jarrett Mayo, he needs to get his feet wet as a head coach. We'll see where he goes. He cleaned house. He didn't bring back the Belichick bums, like Eric Mangini, and he didn't bring back Josh McDaniel. He didn't bring any of those guys in, or your buddy there, Jeremy, Matt Patricia. So
he jettisoned
yeah,
him.
Joe Judge. None of them guys are on his coaching staff. He cleaned house, which is good. He wants to do it his way, so that's
Matt
great. And then
Patricia- Matt
right,
Patricia
and then you
was
have
off the team
Buffalo.
the previous year.
I'm sorry.
Matt Patricia was off the team the previous year.
Yeah, I know. I just called him your buddy. That's all.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, he was what, the assistant to the movie at the movie theater in Philadelphia or something like that. Yeah,
and he ended up actually being the defensive coordinator when they had that epic 1-6 collapse at the end of the season.
Yeah. So and then I like Buffalo. They're always stagnant. They're always steady. We'll see where they go. And Mitch Trubisky's to back up to Josh Allen. He had a good time. He had good when he was up there. They changed offensive coordinators. So they got Joe Brady up there, I believe. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what the Buffalo Bills do. I like them. I think they're going to be in the playoffs again, probably 10-7, maybe something like that. Maybe 11-4 or 11-5 or 6. I mean, something like that. So we'll see what happens. So let's see. Jets, New England. I covered. Miami's in that division too, right? Yeah, the Dolphins. Yeah, okay. Well, the Dolphins there. Hey, you know what? This is another year for Tua. We'll see where he goes, and if he stays healthy, I think they can do well on offense, defense. They're going to have to do something. They lost defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, and we'll find out what they do on defense as well. So.
Well, they got Chop Robinson in the draft.
Yeah. Chop Robinson. We'll see where he goes from Penn State. Yeah, good player. Yes, absolutely.
Isaac was the more complete defensive end out of Penn State, and he was overshadowed because of Chop and the name and all the recognition he was getting due to NIL. Adisa Isaac, if you actually look at his numbers, he was every bit as good as Chop Robinson.
Yes, he was.
Where's
yes.
Adisa Isaac?
He was drafted in the 4th or 5th round, if I remember right. I can't remember to who, but
okay.
Xavier,
you know what? I don't have my draft stuff. I don't have my draft information with me. It's in my Studio A. I don't have it right now. So.
Orlando missed the episode last week. Xavier Howard is up on sexual misconduct charges and has a civil lawsuit trial against him over it. So he's probably not getting a home in the NFL this year. Smokey Robinson plays better blues than Chop, though. But at the same time, about the guys missing at Jets, it's not just Aaron Rodgers, it's Hassan Reddick, too. Both of them are inexcused absences, according to Robert Salah.
Well, there's another guy there, and I'm not saying this because he's a Pitt player, but he was a good running back at Pitt. Izzy Abanikanda. And he got drafted in the 4th round a few years back, and I hope that they start running him, see what happens with him there. But no, not with Davin Cook being there. Davin Cook will,
You know what? I don't think he starts because you got, real quick, you got Braylon Allen behind Brees Hall, who I know Brees Hall just got hurt, but still, good luck. That kid's probably going to be a special teamer.
I think Dalvin Cook's a free agent right now.
Mm-hmm. He is.
Yeah. So
as far as the Aaron Rodgers things is, they are already expected him to be doing his thing. And Coach Saleh said that even though they have to fine him for not being there, they already know what's going on with him, so they're not worried about him. Okay. He'll be back for training, so he's not an issue like people are making it an issue. They always want to do one little drop dime on Aaron Rodgers, even though I don't like him. I call him Ass Rod because he's overrated to me. But anyway, the point of the matter is, don't. everybody got to stop shitting on Aaron Rodgers when he doesn't need to be shit on. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I know.
he's doing his thing. So, and they know that, and they're cool with that. It's the other two players that they're having a problem with. But as far as me in the AFC East, I got the Jets winning it. As long as you got to understand something, the Jets just ain't Aaron Rodgers. You're looking just at Aaron Rodgers. They added a lot of defense this year, a lot of defense. They just got Reddick. That dude is a sack machine. They also added help for Rodgers and Tyron Smith on the left tackle side, so you don't have to worry about getting this leg broke in the first play of the game. So I mean, they've added lots of players on this defense and offense that will help them. Now, I'm not saying you got to remember. So they got Tariq Cohen too.
Oh yeah,
we were talking about behind Brees Hall, but they got Tariq Cohen too. So just remember that. But I'm going down their roster. I mean, they kept a lot. You know, they still got Sauce back there. I think the receivers are about the only thing I have a little question with. I mean, they got Garrett Wilson and Alan Lazard.
They also
Mike
have
Williams.
Malachi Corley, who's a very solid wide receiver in college, who
Yeah.
I liked a lot.
Yeah, well, Malachi is gonna he's gonna have to do something in because they got a whole big wide receiver.
And they signed
Yep.
injury-prone Mike Williams.
Right.
Yeah. Well, somebody will take his place probably by the end of the season too. Who knows? You know, some people flourish in different teams. I'm not even going with that. But I do have the Jets winning that division, and probably rather handily too. I think they get their ceiling is about 10 to 11. Buffalo lost a lot. They did lose a lot, and the receiver core just dwindled. I mean, they were just Stephon Diggs and
Gabe Davis.
And Gabe Davis is gone. The tight end is still there though. They still got two great tight ends, so that might be something Josh Allen will have to work on as far as that's concerned, because they're both capable. But as wide receivers,
they got
Mac Hollins, really? Mac Hollins?
Mac Hollins.
Okay. Chase Claypool, who said he's the number 3 receiver in the league.
Keon Coleman from Florida State.
But Keon Coleman is a rookie. You know, I'm not even really counting rookies right now. I kind of have the same opinion, on Detroit's defense. Everybody says, "Oh, they're going to be great." You got to see what the rookies do. That's what counts in this whole situation. Rookies got to step up. They don't step up, then they're not going to be anything. I mean, KJ Hamler, Andy Isabella, come on. I mean, Curtis Samuel, that's a dude they just picked up off the street, basically. I just don't. Josh doesn't. The only thing that's going to save Buffalo's season is the fact that what's his face came up. What's his name? Not Von Miller. Von Miller's going to be hurt for half that season too.
Their defensive tackle.
Not Leonard Floyd.
No.
Floyd left.
Right. He went to he went to San Francisco, isn't that so?
Oliver
Matt Milano. Matt Milano comes back at what he was playing at like he was last year before he got hurt. Buffalo might have a chance because he was the heart and soul of that defense. So, I mean, I just don't see Buffalo doing that well this year. They could win 10 games. They could win 9. I think Miami is so they can't win in a good game. They can't beat a good team. So
no, you're right.
That tells you right there they suck. And Tua is not the answer at quarterback. I think they're going to go a different direction with Tua next year. I believe they're going to probably be tied or worse than my Buffalo. So I'm gonna put the Miami under Buffalo. It's gonna be the Jets, Buffalo, Miami, and then New England. New England still got to crawl out of that hole. They got a rookie coach. So there's going to be some bumps and bruises to that test. I think New England will probably get about 5 to 6, maybe 7 wins too. That's their ceiling to 7 to me. But they're going to get drilled throughout the season because it's just not. Everybody's got a line. This ain't Bill Belichick's program anymore. And that's a whole. When you change that whole program around on any team, it changes the outlook of how you start playing. So it's going to take about 3 years for that his program to set in. So
Mr. Salah, I have never seen the Jets look like a machine, just a lot of shiny parts. You evidently did not pay attention to their defense. The reason why they lost is they had absolutely no
No
offense.
offense, no quarterback, good quarterback play. That's for sure.
After Aaron Rodgers went down, and as much as I hate to say this, and I'm going to say it right now, I secretly hope Aaron Rodgers gets hurt and has to retire. So his last completed pass still is to Kirby Joseph.
Yes.
Okay, Jeremy,
gotta
guys, Adisa Isaac went to the Baltimore Ravens in the third round,
third round.
93rd pick. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
Adisa Isaac at one time was considered borderline first, second round talent. If you actually look at the old big draft boards across the board, he was falling somewhere in the 30s to 40s, and somehow he fell all the way there.
Yeah, I think another thing about the Jets too, you have to understand that they didn't have a very good offensive line last year, obviously.
No, not at all.
So that plays a big. And when you draft a guy and get a guy as a free agent, hopefully that'll solidify their offensive line a little bit better for Rodgers, because he needs time back there. Of course, any quarterback does to throw the football. So he doesn't expect everybody in his face. I told people last year, yeah, you can have Aaron Rodgers all you want. You don't have an offensive line, he ain't gonna be able to do nothing. And boom,
And if you don't have receivers to throw to either, that's
well, I mean,
another story.
Will's. I mean, the Ohio State kid is good. You got Breeze in the backfield. They added people. It's not like they didn't add anybody this year. It's just that they don't have. Mike Williams is a limper. So you got to see what he can do. But when he plays, he's awesome. They got a lot of when he plays, he's awesome type of guys in there. So.
Hey, Jeremy, guys, I'm sorry to break this up, but I have to leave. I'm going to be on another show at 10:30 down in Tampa. You folks have a great one. Thank you. Catch me, Ralph Williams, RW Media, on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, X platforms. Catch all my shows on there. I have several of them. Ralph Williams, RW Media. Thank you for Jeremy. I want to thank you because I've gained more audience by you having me on here. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. I have you on here because you're a friend. You actually are knowledgeable. You talk good stuff about the Steelers. You talk pretty good about all the teams, just like I do. And we all have our little crap talk, little sayings that we have.
Did you talk to that guy from that network that I asked you about?
I sent him. I sent him a copy of your link so he can get a hold of you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Dad. All right, Ralph Williams 737@gmail.com. Have a great one. Thank you.
Last but not
see you later, Ralph.
Have a good one, Zilla. Thank you. Will, Jeremy, have a good one. Be safe, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Did it.
You did it. Yeah, you got the thumbs up emoji from your iPhone. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to just put him to the background because he's logging out. But, okay. Will, what? Yeah, that's my smoking dad there.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody's like, is that your brother? I was like, no, that's my dad. He was actually alive when Bobby Lane helped the Lions win their last championship.
That's amazing.
The Lions winning a championship, or he was alive?
Yeah, he was alive. He was going on 8 years old. Or he was 8 years old. 1957, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
57.
Okay, Will. What is your take on the AFC East?
So I'm going to go fast. The Pats, I have them at 5 wins. Dolphins, I have them at 11. The Jets, I have 10. And the Bills, I think it's going to be I'm sorry. And then the Bills, I think they're at 9. I think their receiving core hurts them.
I'm hearing good things out of camp about Keon Coleman, but again, it's camp. And there's no pads yet. Once they hit training camp and the pads are put on, things change. So until that happens, I'm going to reserve some of the judgment till then. But my early prediction, I don't think Buffalo makes the playoffs. They lost 3/4 of their secondary, only signed one guy and drafted one guy. They're still missing 2 guys that are starter quality, in my opinion. because they didn't draft a corner until the 4th round. So, and granted, they got one that fell that was supposed to be a day 2 pick, but the 4th round, it's not like it's that big of a steal. It's just somebody that was solid that might be a mediocre guy that could possibly make a slot or an outside shot at CB2 on a good team. You know what? On a bad team, I mean. So I see. I think the Jets are winning the division. I have their window of wins between 10 and 12. I think they're going to settle in at 11 and 6. I got the Dolphins in second place because they actually improved their old line, so Tua might be able to stay healthy for another full year. And he was actually developing his over the middle passing for those short to intermediate routes throughout the season, and he's starting to get the ball downfield to the outside the hash marks to guys like Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So with that starting to happen, and they also picked up a solid tight end to replace Mike Gesicki in the draft. Good. Maybe now he can have some continuity. They have a good running game as long as everybody stays healthy, but they re-signed everybody that couldn't stay healthy, and they drafted somebody who got hurt last year. They got Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert, and Devin Achane. Devin Achane for one game was the most amazing rookie running back we ever saw. It was kind of like carry on
Miami is
that rookie year.
the problem with Miami is they still got trash as a defense to me. They don't have a very good defense. I don't care if they got Jalen Ramsey or not. Jalen Ramsey's like 150 years old. So no, that ain't gonna help. You got a guy fighting the case. Well, he was fighting the case, got dumped from the team. I'm not feeling their defense. That's why I don't think they're gonna finish first. I think the Jets got a way better defense than anybody in that division.
I think the Miami Dolphins are getting second and they have an outside shot to win it if the Jets fall down, is what I'm getting at. I think the team that got hurt the most was Buffalo Bills.
Oh, by
100%.
far.
They lost way too much on defense. And unless guys come back healthy and play to the level they were before they got hurt, I don't see them winning the division. I see them third place this year. The New England Patriots, we know they're a dumpster fire. It's a new coaching staff, new OC, new defense. We don't know what's going to happen there. And it's a total mystery crapshoot. They could win as much as 9, but they could win as little as 3. You know, it really depends on how that first year goes and who they put at quarterback. And if it was me, I would not throw Drake May out there if he's having any mechanic issues like he had his last year in college at all. It would be Bailey Zappi and then just roll with what you get and draft more pieces around him next year.
They got Brissett.
And they got Jacoby Brissett.
I think Jacoby Brissett is slated as a starter right now until training camp and preseason is officially over. But
right,
I mean,
I would roll.
I wouldn't call them a dumpster fire. I'd just call them a new team in progress post Bill Belichick day. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when you change everything in an organization around from what Bill Belichick has, and that's what they have to do, it's going to take some time for everybody to conform to that. And the first year is probably their worst year. I hate to refer it back to my team, but the Lions were the same way. They had to revert all the organizational changes. They didn't do very good the first year. They did better the second year, and so on and so forth. That's what I see New England doing.
Right. But that first year we were here, it was 3-13-1. That was a dumpster fire roster. You say what you want. We stripped it to the studs. It was a dumpster fire roster.
Well, that was under Bill Belichick, too. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm saying now that he stripped the studs and they're starting over with a bunch of new pieces there, it's the same thing as what Detroit did in 2021. New coach, new everything, start over, reset, get a bunch of cap, have a bad year, get a great draft pick, do something with it. That's what they should do.
Yep.
Yeah. I just don't think, extending the trash dumpster thing all the way until the next year, I don't say it that lively. I'd say it's a rebuilding period for the whole team.
You're being
not just
too nice.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I'm not, no. I think I'm just speaking on because the Lions weren't a dumpster trash to me when they came. It was just they were just adjusting to organization. That's what they were adjusting to. And that's what they got new in New England. It's just an adjustment period. We'll see if Mayo's a good coach or not. If he can get them boys out there like DC, and see if he can get them out there and play.
Did you watch that roast of Tom Brady yet, Bistrilla?
I watched a little bit of it.
Did you catch the Julian Edelman part when he talked to Bill Belichick?
No, I didn't see that part.
Oh, he walks up to the mic. He looks over. Hey, Bill, you asshole.
Did he actually say that?
And he goes, remember when you told us that the kids at Foxborough High School could make that play better? Now it's your only job offer.
Yeah, right.
I was like, yeah.
Edelman said that?
Right, yep. James. That's what I'm saying. They had to do. Yeah, they got to cut the route out first. The players that don't want to play.
In New England, you're going to have that. The vets that are unhappy there are not going to play well, and they're going to have to gut that roster. They're going to have to eat a bunch of dead cap this year and a little bit next year, just like we did. They're going to have to do that same exact thing. Oh, you don't want to play here? Fine, you're gone.
In Orlando, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Tom Brady exposed that organization when he left. I told people, you're going to see what kind of coach Bill Belichick is without Tom Brady. Tom Brady went to another organization and won a Super Bowl
that year.
First year. And what did Bill Belichick do? He got barely into the playoffs and got his ass whooped by Buffalo. You can't. Bill Belichick is he's not a good coach. He's another one of those coaches that when you have players, it's kind of like he's got the Phil Jackson kind of thing going on. Now, I don't think Phil Jackson's the greatest coach either. Yeah, he made a triangle, whatever. But he had Michael Jordan, Shaq, Kobe. Same thing with Bill Belichick. You got Tom Brady, who is a student of the game. Dude is awesome. And then he tells Bill Belichick, I bet you I do better on another team without you. And sure enough, that's what he did.
If you look at this, out of all these coaches, we know that the coach in New England is safe because it's his first year. It's Gerard Mayo. They're not going to get rid of him first year because that makes no sense whatsoever. So they're probably expecting a down year. I know I would be. If you look at that roster, you have to be expecting a down year.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFC East, the coach that's on the hot seat for me is Brian Daboll and Mike McCarthy. Both of them. Because if Mike McCarthy can't get them past the wild card again, or they don't make the playoffs at all, I don't think him or Dak survives this season. I still don't think Dak survives even if Mike McCarthy's there. I just got this feeling with a run game where you got two guys that are the size of a micro machine for running backs, and then old-ass Zeke Elliott that averaged 3.2 yards per carry and moves like a robot now and doesn't break tackles. I don't see how they're going to get better, because in the beginning of the season, before Tony Pollard got hurt, they looked like they couldn't be stopped. Remember that? The only team that stopped them was San Francisco. Other than that, no one was stopping Dallas while Tony Pollard was healthy, because then the other guys were just a rotational piece. And then they got exposed. And every week, the total points went down. And everybody's like, oh, they've been averaging 35 points a game the last 6 weeks in a row. Well, they were averaging 49 until they faced the San Francisco 49ers. So who's the only team? There's only two teams that held them to under 21 points. You know who they are? 21 points or under. You know who it is? It was San Francisco and Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Green Bay in the playoffs.
I'm talking regular season.
But but that's the point that counts, though. You can lose regular season games and get badly beaten. Lions did that against Baltimore. They got their ass kicked in Baltimore. But they came back in one game. It's not about those. It's about how you spring back after you lose games like that. Now, they came back and did play pretty well after San Francisco. The problem with Dallas is when it comes to the playoffs, they got all the talent in the world. They should have been in at least, the last 3 Super Bowls. I'm serious. They should have been. They have the roster to do that. The problem with Dallas is they do not have morale when it comes to that time of the year. For some reason, they can't play defense or offense. People can blame Dak all they want to, but Dak is only playing the way the team is, and the rest of the team is playing like doo-doo.
Right.
CeeDee Lamb didn't do nothing in that game. Well, I think he was the only one that did something in the game. Let me take
Right. He
that
was
back.
the only one.
But no running game. Pollard didn't do nothing. The offensive line didn't block well. They sacked Dak, a few times. Then the defense just folded. I don't know what the hell was going on with the defense.
Micah
Yeah,
Parsons.
they disappeared. Micah Parsons disappears. This is another reason why. I don't understand. Now, CeeDee Lamb, I can understand paying him, but Micah, you can't be holding out because first of all, every time you get in the playoffs, you fold.
So he addressed that. He actually said he's not holding out. He's working out with his personal trainers because he doesn't trust his D-line coach to teach him any better than
Sure. Well, if that's the case, then that tells you right there Dallas is not going to be good this year.
Right.
If you don't trust your defensive coach, there's a problem.
Right.
That's a problem.
I said that immediately. I said, ooh, I got something to talk about to make Cowboys fans toes curl.
And then on top of that, you got Jerry Jones as your owner, and he just needs to give it up. Just give it up.
He's Al Davis with more senility.
He's William Clay Ford. That's what he is. He just got a more successful team. That's all. In the regular season, he's William Clay Ford. He is exactly what he is. He puts butts in seats. He cares about them winning more than William Clay Ford, I guess, did. But the fact of the point is, you can't even get to the playoffs and win anything. You can't. 3 years with Dak Prescott as your quarterback, with some of the better receivers, a great offensive line, at least a top 5 offensive line. Your defense was killing during the regular season. Everybody folds in the playoffs. I don't understand it.
Isn't it 7 years that Dak's been the quarterback now?
7, yes.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But they've had the last 3 years, they've been a very good team. They've had the talent to win, like I said, get in the Super Bowl. They have the talent factor to get there. They just can't get there.
Tarkenton lost 4. If you want to talk about Fran Tarkenton and saying Tom Brady sucks, Fran Tarkenton lost 4 Super Bowls. Get it right, because they went 4 straight years and lost every one of them.
Yeah, James. Yeah. Tom Brady sucks, but he won 7 Super Bowls. So I mean, okay, well, 6. So there you go. 7 actually, yeah, because he had played with Tampa Bay. Yeah, he sucks. Okay. Stephen A. Sanders.
But my window, like I said, I am all over the place on the New England thing because if everything goes right, they might shock the world and get 9 wins. But if everything goes bad, they're going to get around 3. They're going to look just like the Lions in 2021. It really depends if the vets accept the leadership of Gerard Mayo. That's what it's going to depend on. Because if you got dissension from the vets like we had, the only vets that were trying on the Lions in 2021 was the O-line. That's it. Defensively, Jamie Collins wasn't doing shit. He was gutted 4 weeks into the season. Jelani Tavai, we never should have drafted him in the first place. It should have been DK Metcalf. I will go to my grave saying that as long as I live. DK Metcalf instead of Jelani Tavai would have been a way better pick.
I'm not a big DJ Metcalf fan anyway. I think he takes off a lot of plays. He's lazy as hell. And he just makes them play. He makes himself good in some case. He's a lazy player. He could be Calvin Johnson, but he can't. He's just not going to be that. He's not going to be in that level. He's just not. He has a potential. He's just not going to use it. He don't work hard enough to me.
Right.
They would have cut him. We would have got him. They would have cut him anyway. I'm telling you, this regime, they would have cut him. As people would say, "Oh, that's DJ Metcalf." That doesn't make a difference. He doesn't have grit to me. Okay. No grit.
I apologize. I put it for it with Fran Tarkenton.
You can like who you want, Jeremy. That's no problem, man. If you thought we should get DJ Metcalf, you know what we should have done? Instead of taking Ebron, we should have got Aaron Donald.
And let's go back.
That was the worst.
Let's talk about the 98 draft. At 27, we take a kick returning cornerback named Terry Fair, and at 28, the Minnesota Vikings take Randy frickin' Moss.
That's the Lions being the Lions at that time.
Yeah, we've had bad GMs for 40 years before Brad Holmes. Say what you want. We had bad GMs for 40 years. We had the M&M decade, the decade of the scare. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Matt Millen and Marty Morningweg, Matt Millen and Mike Martz, Millen and Steve Mariucci, Matt Millen and Rod Moranelli. And yes, that's what I call him, is Moranelli, because he was a moron of a head coach.
And you know what's sad too? And Will, I give all credit to Carolina. Carolina at least went to a Super Bowl.
Right,
And they're a young franchise.
right. They started in
Lions been around since 34. Come on.
technically 1930 if you count the Spartans.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes we have
Gosh,
to
get
we
it
have to
right. No, I'm kidding.
we have to we
I'm
have to
kidding.
revisit to Orlando. We have to revisit sometimes. We have
Hey,
to, you know.
it's taking Andre Ware because he was the Heisman winner at 1 overall and having him stink up the joint. It was taking Rodney Peete because he was good at USC.
Yeah.
It's taking Charlie Batch instead of whoever that year.
Yeah.
It's taking Titus Young, who turned into a head case. It's taking Mike Williams because he was Mel Kiper's
Charles Rogers. Charles
Charles
Rogers was another one.
You know what's funny is Charles Rogers, when he first started out, he was electric until he got hurt. And once he got hurt, and the fact that he was in Michigan was the problem. If he'd have been drafted to any other team in the league where he did not have the access to his old friends and his old habits that he had from high school, I bet you he would have had a good career. But the fact he was drafted by Detroit ruined him.
Charles Rogers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Michigan
James
State.
forward down the field. Oh
Yeah.
man, we haven't heard that in ages.
Yeah, 2 collarbone breaks in a row killed him. Then the dope. The dope is what did it because he lost that after that second injury and he went back to all of his friends partying and stuff like that instead of rehabbing. When he came back to camp the following year, he didn't even make it past the physical. He had lost 35 pounds and was a skeleton of a man.
Oh God.
Well, I mean, the White Sox at least won some
They're terrible.
They won. Well, they're terrible now, but they did win World Series way back in the day.
They won one.
Red Sox
they
has
won
been
in 2005.
in won a Super Bowl, a World Series, and I don't know about the Cubs. Cubs might have it bad too.
Cubs 2017 is their most
Yep,
recent one.
2017 is when they won theirs. Remember that was
Well, I know that's right. They won the World Series. Yep. So
Yep.
so all those teams that you mentioned won a World Series.
or more.
Lions since 34 have not won a Super Bowl. They won championships. I'll give them that. 4 of them.
Won the inaugural season in the 34-35 season that we started. We won that. Then we won in 52, 54, and 57.
Yeah. Trading off with Cleveland.
Yep. And Cleveland, they're just the same as us. They haven't been to a Super Bowl. They haven't lost a Super Bowl. They haven't won a Super Bowl. They have just languished. And as long as they got Deshaun Watson on that roster, I think they're still going to languish. They have a great defense. They have a good running back who's finally healthy and back running full speed. Nick Chubb, kudos to him. You talk about a guy that's tough as nails. That's the second time he's tore all 3 ligaments in that knee. The first time was in college, and now he did it in the NFL. And he's came back and he's running full speed again. Red Six won a championship back in the 90s or 2000s. Stop.
2000s, yeah. White Sox too.
Pedro Martinez and Roger Clemens and all those guys on that roster, and Kurt Schilling with the bloody ankle in the World Series when they won it because they came back and beat the Yankees and then went on to beat the Diamondbacks.
Yep. And yeah, White Sox won a World Series early in their career too.
I wouldn't bring Matt Patricia back to be a photographer with a Polaroid.
I wouldn't allow Matt Patricia to step foot anywhere near Detroit.
Thank God we didn't play the Eagles last year. Well, no, actually, it probably would have been pretty good. I'd have rather played the Eagles with Matt Patricia leading them instead of playing Chicago at Chicago that year. Don't you agree? During that wide stretch when
I
they
don't even talk. I'd rather talk about the things that the Lions didn't do than Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia was like bad. Period.
I wanted him fired after the Jets game 1 in 2018. And then, of course, we had the turnaround after we got Snacks Harrison that year. So I lightened up on him. And I was like, okay, maybe he's got the defense going in the right direction. We went from 29th all the way up into the top 10 in rushing defense in 8 games. Maybe we got a shot. Bullshit. You can have a great run defense, but if you can't stop anybody from passing the ball, you will never be good on defense.
Yeah, that Carolina team a few years ago when we played the Super Bowl against Denver, yeah, their defense was good. Ours was pretty darn good as well.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
had Kuechly and all those guys on there.
Thomas Davis, yeah.
Was that one of the last years you guys had Peppers, too?
Peppers wasn't on the team.
Oh, no, he
Peppers,
was
I
already
think,
a Packer
was
at that time. He was a Packer.
unfortunately, yeah.
Who was your defensive end that was so good that year? I remember.
Kwan Short.
Yeah.
It was either Kwan Short or Coney Ely. I think it was Kwan Short.
And like I said, Red Sox have won in the 2000s. White
They
Sox
have.
They won. They've 1, 2, 3, 4 World Series in the 2000, 2018, 2013, 2007, and 2004. They've won World Series. They're 9-4 in World Series appearances.
I think
But before that,
Cleveland's one of the biggest drought for the Indians.
Yeah.
Or Guardians.
Yeah, Cleveland, yeah.
But
Yeah, let's call them Indians
now.
because I
You
can't
gotta
stand
reset
the
the
damn
clock.
Guardians.
Guardians.
Nobody wants to hit Cleveland Guardians. That sounds so. Ugh.
I know, it sounds awful. It sounds like a bad roller derby team.
The Guardians, yeah.
No, because there actually is a roller derby team that's called the Guardians. Imagine waiting 88 years for your first. But that wasn't their first. Didn't they win some before? I don't know.
Who? The Red Sox?
Yeah.
Oh, the Red Sox. The Red Sox. The last time they won before they won in 2004 was in 1918. That was the last time they won a World Series.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so they did win one before.
But that's why. That's why it was so. That's why it was so. You know.
And the way they came back, they actually made a movie about it with Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore. Remember that?
Yeah.
Pitch?
Yep.
Fever Pitch was a great movie.
I
And I'm a Yankee
it was
fan.
a great movie. You know,
I'm a Yankee fan, but it's such a good movie.
It was a movie for everybody.
It was. It was. And For the Love of the Game is a movie for Tiger fans. If you, and it's a great movie too.
Kevin Costner loves playing them Tiger roles too. That's not the only movie he played a Tiger role in there.
James Burgess, the Cardinals actually have 2 world championships prior to the Lions even being in the NFL yet.
Yep. That is true.
They just weren't in Chicago when they won it.
Yeah,
they were
the Cleveland Indians or the Cleveland Guardians have been in 3 World Series and lost all 3 of them. So they haven't won a World Series. They've been in World Series, but they haven't won.
But we're what? 2 and 3 now. Didn't we win a couple with Cobb too? Or did we never win with Cobb back in the
Tigers got a good World Series history.
I know
they've been 68.
I'm just saying, I know 68,
45,
45, and I think was it 27 or something like that.
I'm looking it up now. Boy, I love Google.
I know Google.
This is what our Generation X does. We go for stuff we don't know. We're going to go on Google. Something these youngsters have today. So we won in 84, 68, 45, 35. We are actually trashed in World Series. We're 4-7.
Right. I was going to say, we only got 4. I didn't think we had many more. I knew of 3 off the top of my head is what I was getting at. Ty Cobb went to 3, or 4, but never won one. Right. Okay. But Ty Cobb, say what you want. He may have been a shitty person, but he was one hell of a ball player.
Oh yeah, crazy good.
And
that's what I say about Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was a hell of a basketball player. He's just a shitty person.
Right,
he's a shitty person. But the last two Tigers was in 2012, 2006. But They shouldn't have ever lost those either.
Right.
They just shouldn't have.
And Amon-Ra dyed his hair blue because of the guy in the hospital that dyed his hair blue, and he was begging the Lions for a Super Bowl appearance while he was in hospice fighting cancer and in the process of leaving this world. Yeah, we all missed the Red Wing dominance. You know what? But as soon as Jeff Blashill became a coach, I boycotted the Red Wings from my TV. I'm not going to lie. I knew he was not the guy to bring up. I knew it. I was like, man, this is awful. We're bringing a guy from the OHL who's had success there, and I understand he's a part of the organization, but he's not a hockey head coach. I've heard he's purely a developmental guy, good at developing players, but he's not good at X's and O's. I heard that on the
Didn't they
radio.
bring him? Didn't they bring him from a developmental squad? Didn't they bring him
Their
like from?
developmental
Yeah,
squad, Grand Rapids
yeah,
Griffins. Right.
Grand Rapids. Yeah, I thought that's what he. Yeah.
OHL.
Well, then who disappointed me the most out of this whole Red Wing thing is Steve Yzerman, because Steve Yzerman, I thought he was going to come in here, get the job done. What is this? His fifth year, fourth year? I mean, sixth year? When did he come in? Like 2017, 18?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, about the sixth year. He ain't done jack. We came close to the playoffs, like that much close.
This is his third year running the team.
I thought he was running it from. I thought it was I thought it was 2018 when he got.
No, because the last Tampa Bay Lightning championship, he was there still as their president of operations. I could have swore he's only been here like 3 or 4 years. We were stuck with Blatchel from Kenny Holland, and he kept letting him go. I might be 5 years tops with Steve Yzerman.
Hmm.
I think it's 2019.
Runs the operations from what time? I don't care about playing career.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there.
So
I think this is his fifth year.
Return to Detroit, 2019.
Yeah, I was right.
So he's been here for 5 years.
This is his fifth year.
Yep.
Yeah, fifth year he sucked.
Well, we got better the last 2 years with the new coach, but I don't even think this coach is the right guy. I mean, I understand it was Yzerman's guy, the guy of the assistant at Tampa Bay that he liked, but they brought him here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he started giving out Ty Cobb stats: 367 lifetime average, only 323 strikeouts, and 11,434 at bats. That and stole home 35 times. That'll never happen again. No one will, because how fast pitchers pitch nowadays. You gotta remember, the baseball was different back in the early. The baseball changed around 30, 20, somewhere between 27 and 30. It used to be a lot bigger than what it is now. Because Rowlings changed the way baseball was made.
Yep.
And now
100%.
that shiny cover, and everybody complains about it being slippery and tries to get away with sticky substance on their gloves.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think it's going to end up being. I think it might end up being. It really depends on the two middle teams. I think no matter what New England does, they're going to be the bottom of the division in the AFC. It's going to come down to the Jets and Dolphins more than likely, because I don't trust the Bills to win 10 games. That's
Bills lost too much. New England's going through a change. The Jets really. I mean, in reality, to me, the Jets really got to.
They got the best.
They got to prove something to me. I know they got Aaron Rodgers, but they got the roster now. They got their offensive line is improved. Their defense has gotten better. We'll see what they can do. Miami, I don't trust Miami. They can't play. They can't play against good teams. So
it was.
I don't see how people got them winning any division when they can't play good teams. So they haven't won a division yet since Buffalo. Buffalo has shown dominance over the past 5 years. They haven't won a division. I don't see it happening this year either. I just don't. I think it's the Jets to win.
Did they ever put Shoeless Joe Jackson in the Hall of Fame yet?
No, they haven't.
I think that's a bigger
Why not?
travesty than Pete Rose
I do too. The
because
guy was illiterate.
they could not prove that Shoeless Joe Jackson had anything to do with what the other guys did. That's why the movie was called Eight Men Out, which is a great movie if you want to learn about that
It's a
time and everything.
great movie.
And it was very well done. John Cusack did a great job in that movie too.
Mm-hmm.
So much good acting back then in the 80s and 90s for sports movies. It was amazing.
Right.
The
Mm-hmm.
Replacements are still going to be one of the funniest, best football movies ever made.
My favorite movie right there. The Replacements is my favorite movie. That's another movie people it's a bunch of fun. No, it's not about being funny. You got to look into the movie and see what it's about. Replacement players playing, over professional football players. That's as simple as it gets.
Right.
So,
And some of my best statements talking about football has actually came from the movie The Replacement. And I'm not talking about the funny stuff. Like when you talk about quicksand and people don't
mhm.
understand that statement and how real it is in sports. And it doesn't matter what sport you play, where the first thing goes wrong. So you overcorrect and then something else goes wrong. And then you overcorrect again and something else goes wrong. And eventually you
That
feel
quicksand's a mother.
you feel like you're up to your neck and you can't move.
Right.
It's a real thing. It gets hard
Mhm.
to breathe when you're in that anxious moment, in that competitive mode. I played competitive pool. I played some football. I played some baseball. I've done all this. You know, I know what those feelings are. I've been on bowling leagues, and you can say that, oh, that's nothing. You get into one of those big leagues where there's like 40 teams, 5-man teams, and you're up towards the top five and a chance for big money, and you got to be the top two teams to get it. You really feel the pressure at that point.
You know what else has really good quotes is Miracle. Herb
Oh yeah,
Brooks. You were
miracle.
born for this
Yeah.
is one of my
Mhm.
favorite speeches.
Do you believe in miracles?
You were born for this, each and every one. Like that just gives me chills.
Yeah, my favorite from The Replacement is pain heals, chicks dig scars, glory lasts
Live
forever.
forever. Yes.
That's when he was in the. That's when he was in a huddle. That was That was
Heck
great. That would have fired me up right there. That would have
yeah.
fired me up.
Um, and another underrated show that a lot of people didn't watch because they didn't have expanded basic, and it was on, I believe it was Comedy Central, then Spike. Blue Mountain State.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah, Blue Mountain State.
I
Yep.
love that show. That's great. Did you hear they're going to make a movie of it with like a comeback thing?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah, they're going to have all the original people coming back as coaches at Blue Mountain State.
That would be a cool team to make an NCAA football 25.
I did.
there you go.
I made one on NCAA 12 because I had it for the PS3.
Jeremy, I've got something to tell you after the show. That's really
Absolutely.
funny.
No, I want the guy who wouldn't take the test, Coach Brooks to Jim Craig.
That's true. He didn't.
Right?
And the sad thing is, Jim Craig didn't have an NHL career because after the whole miracle, after he got drafted, he got in a car accident and it just wrecked his whole life. He was
Yep.
scarred for life because I think
Yep.
he killed someone accidentally.
I'm going to go back in some hockey history with you, Bistrilla. Bob Probert and a certain guy, I think it was on the Canucks, used to fight a lot, and they like actually split in their fights a lot of the time. Didn't matter who knocked who out; they both all just skated off, licking their wounds. Was it Craig Frost? Was that his name? They called him the Iceman.
And he was on a what? The Canucks.
Yeah, is that the name?
Oh, I'm not sure.
But
He
if you,
fought a lot of people a lot of times too.
yeah,
Um,
big penalty minute guy. He was the bruiser. He was the enforcer of that team. Well, anyways, you want to know what he does for a living now?
who?
Hmm.
The Vancouver guy or Bob Probert?
The Vancouver guy.
What?
Berube? No, I'm not thinking of Berube. This guy's last name was Frost, and they called him the Iceman. He actually lives in Sheboygan, Michigan, and he runs the local ice hockey rink.
No way.
Yeah, I only know this. I only know this because I used to play in pool tournaments. Like I told you, I used to set up pool tables for the company that ran the tournament, and we set up a tournament in Sheboygan, and he was the guy I was introduced to. And he was like, going back, yeah, back in my day, we did this. And he'd bring up YouTube videos of him and Bob Probert fighting.
Man, God, hockey players are another level.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about going up there or looking up the number and see if I can call and get a hold of him because he is the general manager of it. I mean, he's not the owner, but he's the general manager. And see if I can get him for an interview sometime just to talk with him, talk some hockey.
I would love that. I love hockey.
And it's old school where you might go to a hockey and end up with a boxing match every night type of hockey.
My dad used to go to North Stars games when he lived in Minnesota, and he saw the Miracle on Ice team because they had a lot of Gophers. He got to see them in a scrimmage. My dad's 63.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to end up doing.
That sounds awesome.
See if I can get him to talk some sports.
Yeah, just to hear him talk about some of the fights he had with Bob Probert would be good.
Oh, yeah. Old school NHL fights are the best.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he fought. His one of his biggest enemies was Greg Berube too, and Marty McSorley. That means Bob Probert's. Marty McSorley and Greg Berube. They used to have some good fights. Oh my God, he used to have
Craig
good
Cox.
fights.
That's his name. I don't know where
Cox?
I got. Yeah, it's Cox. Coxe.
Craig
There's a
Cox.
Cox who played for the Miracle team, but he was a backup goalie. Cox.
Let's see what Greg
I'm gonna look real
Cox
quick.
is doing now.
Yeah, he was of the Canucks. That's the guy. Boy, they had some knockdown, dragged out fights. Let's see.
Yeah, he played for the Flames, the Blues, the Sharks,
and
it was an E.
Yep.
He's got an E in the back of his name.
Coxe. Yep.
What's he doing now? Coaching career. Oh, he's in Sheboygan. Sheboygan boing.
Told you. I wasn't
He's in
bullshit.
Sheboygan boing.
He runs the ice skating.
Yeah, he's also the rink manager at Ralph G. Quintil Arena in Sheboygan boing.
See, I tell you, I do know people. I'm not a bullshitter, guys.
Ooh, that's way up there in the top, ain't it?
Yeah, that's up there near Alpena. We used to do at the Ramada Inn there. I don't know what it's called now, but it used to be the Ramada Inn. We used to do the tournament up there in Alpena.
Yeah.
Every winter.
So Cox is known as a willing fighter at NHL level. Cox's fight with Bob Probert are considered classics and have been referred to the biggest toe-to-toe slugfest of all time. There you go.
Did I not call it? I just had to look it up, and I just typed in Craig versus Bob Probert fight video, and there's like 9 of them in a row, and all of them are around a minute long. That's a long fight in hockey.
That's a long fight in hockey, yeah.
People are saying, "What do you mean?" I was like, most of the fights now, you get 3, maybe 4 swings, it's over. It's a 30-second fight. Back then, a minute was a long fight in hockey. Normally, it was about 30, 45 seconds.
He's still a youngster. He's only 60.
Yeah, he's only 60. I know. I'd like to talk
Craig
with him.
Cox!
What's up, Coxie?
Can I call you Cox? No, too bad.
I dare you to say it to his face. I mean, the guy is 6'3" and like 220 right now. I bet you he can still hit too.
Oh, I bet.
Probably. That's probably why he's a manager. And yeah, I would think so.
Right. I'd rather get
that damn Saboni off my fucking ice. I can just see him now being a rink manager.
I will put on my pads and knock you silly.
Yeah, Semenko was another guy he used to battle with too.
Dave Semenko. And Greg
Berube. Craig Berube, yeah.
Oh man,
Old school hockey. Yzerman had the Probert rule. Gretzky had the Semenko rule. Mario is 6'6". Didn't need a rule. LOL.
I did like
Mario
Oh, but
hardly
they
Mario.
ever.
did. They came to his defense though when they were going after Mario.
But believe it or not, little ass Jaromir Jagr actually came to his defense a lot too. That little
Yager was I love Yammer Yager.
I know.
That's one of
He's
my
still kicking.
Pittsburgh Penguins,
Can you
man.
imagine if you'd have had him and Shanahan with Yzerman on that front line? How
I
deadly
mean,
would that have been?
not that the Red Wings needed to add anybody to who they had in the first place. They had good 4 or 5 lines rolling
No, I know.
easily.
But
That's
if
what
you
made the
had,
Red Wings so fucking deadly, man.
yeah,
Damn.
and then even our enforcer line could score.
Mm-hmm. And beat the shit out of you at the same time.
Right. Dino, when our back two on the front line was Cicerelli and Coffee. You remember the lamps being lit up from the blue line all the time on slap shot?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wings drafted
Coffee was no
Psycho
joke
ahead of
either.
Yarder. Oops.
I mean, we got a lot of players like when we got Red Wings, when the Red Wings got a lot of those players like Brett Hall and Paul Coffey, we got them in their prime, basically.
Right.
And that was a really good where our GM was doing a very good job of looking at that. Because, you want the Red Wings to win now. Did we have a base, couple of lines that we have a base? We just got to bring in other players to fill the rest of the lines. And that's what they did. They brought in, people that were at their peak. And Coffey, Brett Hall, Shanahan, those are people who were at their peak, man. That's why the Red Wings was such a great team.
It's nice to talk about something other than Detroit Lions football for a minute, though.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, we're just starting to talk about the other Detroit teams, much to Will's chagrin.
Tigers made a trade. They got 3 outfielders from the Mets for Riley Green. Is that true?
Riley Green got
What?
traded today.
I heard that this morning. Let me get the.
Really?
That's false.
What I heard.
I
That's
know
false because
I
I didn't
know
hear
Cap-
it. That would have came on. That would have came right on my.
I have nothing
That would have
against
came right on my
Detroit.
sports feed. That didn't come. That didn't happen.
But still, I have nothing against Detroit, even though my dad hates Michigan. My uncle played hockey. Not my dad's brother, but my mom's sister's husband played hockey at U of M.
Oh, it's a trade rumor.
Oh, okay.
It is a trade rumor. And
I know.
If they trade anybody, it should be Javier Baez because that dude sucks.
I know
I
Kevin
don't think you
Biggio
can
got
trade him.
traded. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Kevin Biggio got traded this morning to the Dodgers.
Yeah, it's to the Mets, and it's for all three of their 2 of their starting outfielders and one of their top prospects as an outfielder, straight up for Riley Green. And you know what?
Wow.
If you're talking about rebuilding a team and you're getting 2 starters for one and then an up and coming prospect who's in the top 100, that's not a bad trade for either team.
What is that,
luckily-
Mets?
Yeah, that's with the Mets. It was Austin Haynes, another guy, and then some. Javi Baez can't be traded because he sucks like a B-list porn babe.
Right. Well, that's because we owe him so much damn money because we took his damn fat ass contract. BS.
The production line. Dad says, "Give me the Gordie Howe era." Yeah, I wish I could have watched.
Oh yeah, go man. The Red Wings have always been a great team.
Yeah, I mean, what 10?
Not just recently. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet. They're not great. They haven't been great recently, but considering the fact I've seen about 3 or 4 Stanley Cups, I'm good.
I did not do that, Jeremy.
I've seen 6.
I did not do that. It did the
You saw
thumbs down emoji. I don't know why. I just did this.
Yeah, but your thumb was probably down your neck and it just picked it up. You're okay.
Evil iPhone.
But don't react to when it does it. Just let it happen. That's all you gotta do. Red Wings are in fact the kings of Motown sports. Yes, they always have been. They always will be. But you know what's funny? Is the turnout has been better for the Detroit Lions over the past 2 years than it has been for the Red Wings at Little Caesars Arena. And that's because of the product on the ice. It hasn't been great.
Well, the whole system, I think the whole system is messed up. Again, I mean, you don't have what's his face run organization no more because he's gone.
Ken
and
Holland.
you got his not Ken Holland. Who owns the Red Wings?
Oh, Mike Ilitch. Yeah,
Mike Ilitch. Mike Ilitch isn't there anymore, and his sons
Right.
are running it. And it's they don't have the same pizzazz as Mike Ilitch does for seeing talent and seeing people that can see talent. That's the difference.
Right.
When you lose that aspect, you lose your organization. So I mean,
gotcha.
Yep.
Yeah, Mr.
what did I
Caesar.
say? We won 4. I saw all 4 of these Stanley Cups. Well, I saw 5 of them, but we lost the one to Pittsburgh in
Right.
like 7 games, which was jacked because I hate Pittsburgh in that sense. I'm not a big
Doing
Pittsburgh
far better
Penguin
than
fan.
Mike Ilitch Jr. by far, 100%. And here's the thing: I'm going to give credit to somebody that nobody gives credit to, because she knew when to step down, and that's Martha Firestone Ford. She knew after 3 years of the Petrasha regime that she had to step down, and thank God she didn't give it to Bill Jr. because he'd have hired the next Matt Millen.
Yeah, James, you hit that right in the head, though. Yeah, she is definitely doing
She's
better than
married
Illich
to a
Jr. by far.
Firestone. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah,
You got to
and-
put tires on the damn Fords.
right. Why do you think Fords usually come with Firestone or Bridgestone tires? Because they're all made by Firestone.
I'm not going to say nothing about Ford because I'm not a Ford person.
Neither am I.
I'm a
It does
GM person.
stand
I
out.
like
I'm going to
Chevrolet.
tell you exactly what it stands for. And there's quite a few
Found on
acronyms.
the road dead.
Found on road dead, flip over, read directions, fix or repair daily.
And I see I can say this because I've actually had a couple of Fords, so
I own
I
one.
already know.
Own another one. I was given a Mercury. I didn't buy it. It was given to me. And I replaced the transmission, and it died exactly 1 year from the day of it getting done, which was the day of the end of the warranty.
Yep.
Right, exactly.
That's
He's about the business side of it, but he's losing because they're losing attendance. Their attendance is down by 30% of what it was when Mike Ilitch was around.
Yep.
You know what's sad though? That damn stadium is housing 2 badass teams right now: the Pistons and the Red Wings. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt. Little Caesars. That's why they got all that. That's probably why they got all them buildings around there. businesses and restaurants and stuff that are built around the stadium because something's got to suffice that damn stadium because the teams ain't doing it. I haven't been to a Pistons or Red Wings game yet. In those, I haven't been to Little Caesars yet. I haven't.
And I've been to Comerica and I've been to Ford Field.
Yep,
Wow,
I've been to both of those.
As much as I hate it, I want to call it flaccid because it isn't very much a wreck because it doesn't make a lot of noise when it's open, unless it's a concert.
What are you
LCA.
talking about?
LCA.
Oh yeah, places. I mean, it's probably one of the most state of the art stadiums that is in the league, but at the same in the league for both leagues. But at the same time, it's not that; it's the teams that are in it. And the teams that are in it suck. I mean, what's the point?
Right.
I'll go see a concert maybe, but I'm not going to go see them two teams until they get that shit together.
You know who I don't want fired? I don't want Monty Williams fired. I don't think it's his fault. Troy Weaver put together a bad roster. He's a good coach with a bad roster.
Another point there is that's another owner of a team that sucks.
Yeah, Tom Forrest.
He sucks. Then you let that team go. You're just trying to be a playboy in that team. I got a basketball. I got a basketball team. Ooh. Dude, sit your ass down and go give it to somebody that actually wants to win with this team. Stop doing that. I hate that. That's when you look at what the Lions have done, your whole perspective of ownership changes.
I do want to say right now, I did have a scheduling snafu. It was outside of my control, and it sucks. I couldn't do the interview this morning. It sucks. But you know what I'm getting in compensation? I get to talk to a guy that is an agent and an actor. I get to talk also with possibly a whole bunch of sports people other than just the one I wanted, because I have been invited to the Beaumont Children's Hospital on
There you go, buddy.
golf outing, the charity golf outing that's ran by Mark and Donnie Wahlberg. in Detroit on August 26th, and it's a Monday. I don't have to ask for the day off because it is my day off. And I will
Let's
be
Yeah.
doing
go.
the podcast live from down there. And any interviews I do prior to the podcast, I will record them on the phone, and I will load them into the video clip and I will play them for you. I will say, hey, here's when I talked to so and so. And there's some current players on our favorite team that are going to be at this because it's a Monday during that week that they do the cut downs and there's no practicing.
I'm so happy for you,
That's a
Jeremy.
win-win, boy.
Right.
That's a win-win.
Hmm.
And hopefully I can do the same thing with them as I did with Charles Harris and end up with 2 or 3 shout outs.
And you can have a new intro with the current
Yes,
Lions player.
Lineup. Yep. There you go.
I hope.
I'll
Yep.
give you
I'm
a
so
hint.
happy for you. This year
Don't
is
give
Started
us
going to
no
go
hint.
down
Surprise
for
us,
you.
man.
No,
Surprise us,
I want
man.
you to guess, but B, you might get it right off the rip. He started 6 games last year and outplayed what everybody thought he would be able to do.
Iffy.
Amen. Nice guess right off the rip.
So, Jeremy, this year's been great. You're doing the draft, and now you're going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
You're moving up in the world, buddy.
wait, I was told to book a hotel for the Super Bowl today.
What? Dang.
No.
Yes, I was told
Where's the
today
Super Bowl?
by the agent to book my hotel
New Orleans.
somewhere around New Orleans. So I got to start looking a half hour out because everything 15 minutes into the city is already booked for the Super Bowl because the date. So I got to
Yeah.
start
As
looking a
soon.
half hour to an hour
Yeah.
out right now.
You got to be
Right,
on it. As soon
right
as they
before,
announce where the Super Bowl is going to be at that year, you better be booking
right.
tickets
Everything
immediately.
within
Because
15 minutes of New Orleans is already booked. And I got to look now because if I wait till the season starts, I won't get a room. And I don't care. It's New Orleans. I'll drive down and sleep in my fucking car to go there.
I know that's right. That's
I
a
can.
party city.
But they got truck stops for just outside the town on the expressway. I can hit the shower and go there that morning because he said
That's
he
why. That's why I feel everything is lining up because Dan Campbell's going back to New Orleans with AG, and there's a lot of New Orleans connections with them.
mm-hmm.
I think that's what's going to happen.
Marcus
I just see it.
Davenport. Marcus
And
Davenport was drafted by the Saints.
there you go. So, and I hope it's against Kansas City so they can act like, oh, we're going to three-peat. We got to play the Lions. Okay, we're going to beat your ass
And you
again.
know what you're gonna do? Shit, Kadarius Toney, you're benched.
I don't need to worry about Kadarius Toney, but
You mean Kadarius Stonehands Tony?
yeah,
It,
Kadarius Dropsy.
no, I love that video that I posted as a reel right after we won that I found. It says, and Kadarius Stonehands Jabroni dropping 6 out of 7 targets.
I love
Stonehands
James.
Jabroni.
I love James right here. New Orleans, a sleepy little town with a couple blues bars and some seafood joints.
Yeah, just a couple bars.
Yeah, just yeah,
Oh,
with a
man.
street called Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
When your street's
All
named
right.
after liquor,
I'm
you know
taking
it's a good
boobies.
ass city.
Who cares if it's Mardi Gras or not? I might see some boobies.
I'm breaking beats.
Hell, the way that Goodell is doing things, it might be Mardi Gras when we have the Super Bowl.
Oh
Let's
man, that
extend
would
the
be a
games to
crazy
22
weekend.
games.
Oh,
I would be concerned.
Yeah, that would be
yeah, Mardi Gras in New Orleans.
NBC Jeremy, he hasn't been back for about a week.
Von
Somebody go
Doom's
send a search
hosting
out
that.
for
I
Jeremy
see a picture of me on Facebook going, boobies.
Boobies.
with some tatas in your face.
Yes. They're going, boobies.
You'll be smashed. Your face is gonna
Von
be
Doom's now
like,
the host, and I'm the co-host.
I'll have nipple imprints on each cheek.
right.
Oh, yeah, we're having too much fun. But I just wanted to share that with my close personal friends. I wish Leonard could have stayed because I know he'd have loved to have heard this. But when he ended that phone conversation with book your room for the Super Bowl, because if I can't get you credentials, I will make sure I get you day passes for 3 of the days up to the Super Bowl.
I would have dropped my phone, but like,
I almost did. You know how hard that is? But that means whether I'm credentialed or not, I'm there.
that's so great.
That's a good thing.
I just hope one
I'm
day
happy
I'm
for you, bro.
able to do the draft
How
and
much
other
stuff
things.
has happened this year
Yeah.
already with the draft, being there. And I can't say thank you enough to my publisher, Scott Morganroth, and his wife, Candy, for getting it done for me to be credentialed. And I'm sorry that I didn't say your name in the article. I'm sorry that I said thank you to my publisher and his wife.
But everyone knows you're published, which is great.
Don't. This is my formal apology. This is my public apology. I want everybody to hear it. I don't want anything added. I don't want any reason for me to have a pin put in this conversation. So, in other words, it was an AB situation. See your way out, sir.
Mhm.
I'm just doing my public apology. I'm doing it right here in front of all my fans because I in no way meant to slight my publisher, his wife, or anybody else who was involved. I just was excited for all the things that I went through day one, and I wrote the article, and I didn't even think about it. I didn't think I'd offend anybody, and if I did, I never meant it.
Well,
And I'm going
you
to
gotta
leave
know
it.
some. You should know by now in journalism, everybody doesn't like everything you say, so you
Oh,
can't please the masses all the time. So, F
I
it.
understand,
You just gotta keep walking on. That's all.
and that's why I'm saying what I said and how I said it.
Yeah, I got you, brother.
This is my platform, and I can say it exactly how I want, and
There
try
you
not
go.
to offend anybody.
There
I can
you go.
try. I can try.
Well, you can offend anybody you want to. Ain't
Right.
nobody got, everybody has a choice not to sit there and listen to it. That's the point.
I know
Yeah.
I've lost subscribers because of my opinion on Goff, and like you, I have said Goff is a great QB when everything else is great around him.
That's just a fact. That's not even that's nothing
Not
that's
a
a
bad thing.
pretend. That's
It's
just
not
a
saying
fact.
he's a.
But it ain't.
It's not saying he's a bum. It's saying
The dude
exactly.
went to a Super Bowl with that same concept. So I mean, you figure the Lions got. I think the Lions would have a better team this year than the Rams had when he went to the Super Bowl. So maybe he can actually go and win one with everything around him, and that's good. You know, the problem with the quarterback position in the NFL is it's the star power.
I'm sorry. I got to say this right now. +2 to James. Last time I was in the Big Easy, I severely
Yep.
drained my damage.
Drain my damage. Yep. I feel you on that one. I was just going to say something to that too.
I'm a bigger Goff fan than you, SJB, but I'm no piker, pun intended. One of these days, I might post the meme that somebody created about David Pike. But
Oh, I can't
I
wait.
just leave it in my gallery and enjoy it and laugh my ass off because it's funny. But at the same time, as a person, I like David Pike. As a person, he's a great individual. If you knew him, you'd like the guy.
I know David.
I mean, I know him personally. I've actually been at his parents' house for a cookout a year or two ago. So I know him personally. He actually asked my niece to go out to prom at Bendel when they were going to high school. So yeah, I know David Pike.
Yeah.
There's a
I
big
know.
difference in how I know David Pike and how podcasters know David Pike. As
Mhm.
a matter of fact,
This is true.
if it wasn't for David Pike, I wouldn't have my Billy Sims jersey. It was a gift from him when I met up with him at Fort Family Fun Fest, and I did not expect it. I wasn't asking for that. He goes, "I got a gift for you," and I was like, "I can't really afford a gift for you, dude. I'm sorry." And he handed that to me. And he knows that that's my favorite running back of all time. I'm not gonna lie. A grown man cried.
I
A
would have
grown
too.
man cried because it just wasn't an autographed jersey. It was a Rookie of the Year inscribed Billy Sims jersey, and it was a stats jersey with all the stats embroidered underneath his number on the back of the jersey. You know how huge that was? And it had 19. Blah, blah, blah. Heisman winner, 1980 Rookie of the Year, so many all-purpose yards, so many touchdowns,
I
average
would have cried
yards
too.
per carry. I mean, that was a huge moment for me. So, and I have not ended my friendship with David Pike. I've just ended podcasting with him. That's it. Because I'm not the homer he is about a certain player, and he isn't as realist as I am. With
Yeah,
everything
you
right
got people like that. Yeah, I'm with you, James. I'm
games,
with you.
yeah, I'm 100% with you. And if not, we can be in a couple of Super Bowls and he might lose because he'd be the first guy that went to a Super Bowl under his rookie contract and lost his first time at the Super Bowl and went back.
Yep.
And I'm not saying he can't do it because this team is every bit as good, if not better. The only thing it's missing is an Aaron Donald guy. That's the only thing this team is missing compared to that Rams roster.
Well, we got two guys that can take his spot: Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader.
Yeah,
That those two together will be Aaron.
we hope. We can only hope.
Right. We can
Uh,
only hope.
I mean, everybody's up in arms because DJ Reader has to miss mandatory camp, and they don't understand. His wife is having a baby, a newborn. He has to be home with his wife. They'll be back in time. I think they said by at the latest by the second week of training camp. It's not that big a deal. You're
Mhm.
talking about a consummate vet
The veteran. Yeah.
who got signed, sat in the film room for 3 straight days, and wrote notes to give Broderick Martin and Aleem McNeil to make themselves better.
Yep,
In
I agree.
September of 2021, he was the first QB to take a snap as a Lions QB who had been a starter for a Super Bowl team. Reich was a backup. Yeah,
I remember
100.
Frank Reich being our backup.
I remember Frank Reich as a backup leading one of the biggest comebacks to put
Mm-hmm.
that team in the Super Bowl that year. And DJ Reader will be just fine. That's what I'm trying to say. He talk about how much love he has for the team he just signed for. And remember, here's the other thing I got to say is Reader had bigger offers from 4 other teams he turned down to come to Detroit.
Yep.
Well, you got to think about it too. He came from a championship, a Super Bowl team. You remember
Right.
Cincinnati was in a Super Bowl with the Rams, which he's going to probably think about that when the Rams come here and play us the first
Yeah, I
week.
was just gonna say, if there's anybody that's gonna have an issue with
Yeah,
facing the Rams week 1, it's DJ Reader. That Bills Houston game was freaking bizarre. Watched the whole
yeah.
thing and lived a couple times since. Yep, live a couple. Yep.
Well,
But I want to say this. It's time for our favorite sponsor. It doesn't exist. It doesn't pay me money, but it is
Fuck the
FTP.
Packers.
Fuck the Packers.
Well,
Sideways,
we can say it. We're
backwards,
not
wrapped
on
in
road.
barbed
Oh, there we
wire.
go.
Fuck the Packers.
Now it's time for
I want to change. I would like that change to fuck the Bears because their fan base is just going completely ham.
hey, and
Their fan base has turned into a Super Bowl contender overnight, and they haven't even
haven't even played it
played the
down.
guy yet. At least let him play it down before you start saying stuff. Jesus,
Oh, because he
guys
had a
are
good
fucking
day at
nuts.
OTAs yesterday, so now he's the best thing since sliced
Oh,
bread.
he threw 7 interceptions at OTAs. I told people don't be. Oh, he sucks because he threw 7 interceptions at
bad.
OTAs. I'm like, well, dude, that's OTAs. That has nothing to do with real football. Come on
As
now.
much as we want to trash him for being the way he is, the effeminate guy he is, and saying stuff like "Go Bears" at the draft twice on stage and in the media room.
Go Bears.
Yeah, Robert.
Go Bears.
FTP file transfer voter protocol. Blog the porpoise. That's my favorite.
James is on fire today.
Yeah, he is. But as much as we want to bag on him, we really can't till he takes the field. But he did make a statement in his presser today that he may regret. So far, being a quarterback in the NFL seems to be coming to me easy.
Oh, that's where those 7 interceptions came from?
Wait,
Okay.
that's what he said today or yesterday, one of the 2 days. Here's what I have to say about that. Do
You
you
sure it
remember?
was him or was it Richardson? Because I heard Richardson say the same thing.
No, I heard it was Caleb Williams.
It was Caleb.
But anyways, here's the other thing. Do you remember when Justin Fields said that the NFL seemed slow while he was in OTAs? And his first start was versus Cleveland, and Myles Garrett knocked the stupid into him?
That's gonna
Remember when he
happen.
got taken off the field, they took his helmet off and he looked like a drunk Kermit the Frog?
I am going to push that aside with Justin Fields because Justin Fields is a phenomenal athlete, and if he had the talent that Caleb had around him, I would be much more fearful of Chicago.
Right.
But they decided to be dumb and trade Justin Fields and take a chance on a rookie who did have some bad games in college. I mean, bad games in college.
Awful games.
So don't let that last year fool you. He had bad games before that. So I'm okay. It's like, the guy that you look at is like the Commanders, Daniel. I ain't no star quarterback yet. That's what he said. I ain't no star quarterback yet.
But
so that's what you got to have mentality. Yep, you got it.
Yeah,
that's what you want to have.
He goes, I ain't a star yet, but I'm gonna earn it. That's how he worded it. That's what you want to hear. You want to hear like Terrion Arnold. Yeah, of course. But as hype as Detroit was at that draft, he just blurted it out off the top of his head, and he had to roll with it. I'm gonna help us get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
after he couldn't take it back.
Coach Richardson said that too. He said it's easier playing in the NFL than it is college. First of all, that's a stupid statement considering you missed half the season last year, more than half the season, because you got hit.
He got hit so hard, he broke his septum, didn't he?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah. So no, you can't say it's easier playing. You didn't play half the damn season. I don't understand some of these people's mentalities when they come out of here. You know, it's just stupid. I don't know what the hell got into him.
I do have to give a shout out to Glossner Grand, the best window tinner of 2023 in Saginaw, and up for the award through the Chamber of Commerce again this year. He is at 409 Hamilton Street. 989-443-9240 is the number to call to set your appointment to get your window tinting or your auto detailing done. He does a really good job at both. This is one of the jobs that he did both on. It's a Maserati SUV. And here, I actually saw this one get done because I was working in the tire shop next to it. That is a Chrysler 300 C-Class. He made that bitch shine.
Yeah.
And last but not least, my place of employment, right at the corner of South Grand Traverse and West Atherton Road, 602 West Atherton Road in Flint, Michigan, 48507 area code. We have used tires starting at $40 a piece, and new tires. Call to get your quote, 810-233-8230. Talk to George, Red, or myself. And you know, if we got guys bringing in a 500,000 1963 Rolls Royce European edition to get their tires done at our shop, you can bring your hoopty.
Okay.
Flint, where the water is bad, but the tires are great.
Right. That's why I live in Burton. Outside of Flint, it's a separate water.
There you go.
We have well water. Gentlemen, fun times again. 2 months till fake football, which matters for coaches and rookies a lot more than some think. Absolutely.
Yep. Exactly.
That's where and you know, that's probably the only starters you're going to see in the preseason are rookies trying to establish themselves and get to know their playbooks better.
Ooh.
I will bring my 19 silver.
Oh, shit. All right, James. James is on fire tonight. He is on fire.
He always is. I love it.
That one there is the silver Phantom from 1963. They had it painted with the Cadillac pearl white, pearlescent. It is so pretty to see in person. That picture doesn't even do it justice. It actually has mahogany accents on the interior.
No way. Oh.
And it's pure European edition. It hasn't been transferred over. Everything's on the right side of the car. I would be lost trying to drive that sumbitch.
Oh, I would too. Yes, it is, James.
He goes, that
Those
color was.
eyes.
Oh man, tonight's been fun like always.
And next week, you know what? Just for you, Will, we will skip to the NFC West and AFC West so you can be here when we do the NFC South and NFC South.
Yay,
Next
the
week, it'll be the West
Panthers!
Conference divisions that we're doing.
I hope that's not the only time you have to cheer for him. That's all I gotta say.
Detroit. Jeremy's converted me into a Lions fan.
He'll always be a Panthers fan at heart. He lives in Carolina.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with the Panthers. I love the Panthers. I love all the cat teams.
I
just say I
think
like
they can
Cincinnati.
get
I like
better.
the Jaguars. I like the Panthers. So we should have
Yep.
our own division.
Will Voggs has to be here for Carolina time. So yes,
Yep.
next week
Yes,
will be
you do.
West and AFC West. So we're in the AFC. We're going to be talking about, of course, Chiefs Kingdom, the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders.
Go Chargers.
Yeah, go
Good
Chargers.
Chargers.
Go Chargers.
Old Chargers.
And
I love James.
try
Kidding
every
something.
day to be a better person than you were the day before. That's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts right here. Much love to everybody in the chat. Too many of you to name, and I had a lot of fun. Oh, look at that. He made the hurt emoji. Do we have to talk about
Ooh.
Broncos? Yes,
Yes, we have to talk about
because
the
I have
Broncos.
heard great things about Bo Nix at OTAs. Say what you want. He might be better, but it is OTAs. I understand.
There you go.
But I will say the one reason why I said Bo Nix will probably be a better pro is because of what he went through in college to get to where he was drafted in the first round.
Yep.
He played
That
for
Auburn
5
thing
different
was tough.
offensive coordinators the 5 years he was able to play. And every year he got better.
Mhm.
So that means he can adjust to new playbooks very well. Because if a new offensive coordinator comes in, that means you got a new playbook and it's learning all over again. And every year he got better. So I'm going to say that makes him a little more pro ready than a lot of the other QBs coming out of college. Because a lot of those QBs that started at one school and had one coordinator and one coach, they only know one system so far. So learning what they're learning now is a totally new thing.
Yep.
And hell, and his name is Bo Nix. I mean, that's a perfect name for a quarterback.
Yeah.
Who's
The
your
only
quarterback?
better
Bo
is
Nix.
you know what? The only thing that would have been better is if it had been Callahan. Bo Callahan saves Denver. Could have been the headline like in draft day for Cleveland.
I think Bo Nix is just as good, though. I'm
It
saying
is.
I think Bo Nix is just as good.
The best name that never made it in football came out of Purdue. It was a 6'7" linebacker, weighed 265 pounds, ran a 4.55 40 at that size. His name, and he was drafted in 2005, but he ended up being a backup on the Browns and never made it. But his name was Nick Clack.
Nick Clack.
As a
But
linebacker.
next year has the best name, Jeremy. The coldest Crawford.
I do want to see Nick, believe it or not. He's an enigma to me. His moments both ways. Yeah. And I know you don't mean that in the Caleb Williams type of both ways.
Yeah.
Good
Damn.
one. The
I
coldest Crawford's
I
going to be
did
a
say
beast.
for the week of the Bears game, I'm going to get a custom Bears jersey. It's going to have Williams' number on it, but on the back, instead of his name, it's going to say LGBTQB1.
Don't go getting in trouble, man.
Yes, Detroit fan. That's true, actually.
I'm going to wear it every week we play them. I'm going to post that video up, and I'm going to plaster it all over Bears pages. On purpose.
General Axel Booty, I remember him.
Yep.
Axel
John David Booty. Hey, but last year
and General Booty just for short.
there was 2 guys that finally got to sit next to each other on an offensive line, and it was just a matter of time. There was a guard named French and a center named Fries for the Colts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they literally were sitting next to each other on the bench, and then somebody snapped a picture. French fries.
Did you guys see the jersey exchange in the NBA?
Which
that
one?
was very
There's
don't
been
know if
lots
we're
of them,
allowed.
so you got to be specific.
It was Anthony Black and Grady Dick, and they changed jerseys, and they took a photo. It said Black Dick.
Yeah, that was great. That was a good one.
I don't know which would have been worse if it was Dick Black or Black Dick. I don't know which would have been worse.
And on
That's just
that
bad.
note, it's a great way to end the show is with a good laugh. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow at noon as usual.